There are a lot of things going on when it comes to the upcoming fighting game lineup. You've got the obvious contenders like Dead or Alive 6 and Mortal Kombat 11 hitting Q1 early this year, but let's take some time for the games that may have fell under the radar that you need to get excited for in 2019. The first game on the list that I have to say is probably one of the games that I've been waiting for a very long time, especially since being able to play the beta version on PC through early access on Steam, and that game is called Fantasy Strike, which is set to release late Q1 of 2019. The game was developed for the casual and veteran fighting game player in mind, and it will be available on platforms like PS4, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. The general principles are similar to the ones present in other fighting games. The players are taken to a small world where they have to defeat their opponent within the certain time limit. The enemy is controlled by either an AI or by another player. The developers created a few different warriors with some unique skill sets. For example, the player can use an artist, an archer, a man who gets help from a ghost, or a hero who can turn into a dragon. A dragon! A flippin' dragon! That's awesome. Fantasy Strike is a 2.5-dimensional fighting game. This means that all arenas and characters are 3-dimensional, but the battles are fought in 2 dimensions. Kind of like that classic Street Fighter-esque style game. The player can move left to right, they can jump, they can crouch, just like every other fighting game. The number of attacks is quite limited and the combos are rather easy to perform. However, the game was developed with tournaments in mind, so although it is easy to learn the basics, mastering the game will require a lot of time and much skill on your end. This is perfect, especially with the trailers indicating that this game is designed for the newbie in mind, making combos easier to execute with a fight pad or a general DualShock and Joy-Con controller. The only downside I can see is that the graphics aren't of a Guilty Gear or a Mortal Kombat standard, and that might detract people away from this game. Alright, so I kind of have to cheat this next entry on the list because it technically doesn't have a release date, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch out and hope that it comes out in 2019. Get ready, anime fans, because this is Granblue Fantasy Versus. Granblue Fantasy Versus is a classic one-on-one fighting game in which players control one of many available characters, characterized by different fighting styles, special skills, and combos. The action takes place on a 2-dimensional set, and all models of the characters and their surroundings have been made in the 3 dimensions. So it's another 2.5-dimension fighting game. As with other Arc System Works games, developers have introduced optional settings for beginners, simplifying combinations of buttons, special, and complex movements. Just like the latest versions of Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ, the game uses the Unreal Engine 4. Creators used advanced techniques of animation and goal shading, which will create the impression that we are dealing with a classic 2-dimensional fighter. The game is accompanied by an insane rock soundtrack, which includes songs available in the mobile Granblue Fantasy game. Personally, this is my most anticipated game for 2019, if it releases this year. Ever since playing the likes of Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, and Dragon Ball FighterZ, I have fell in love with the 2.5-dimension genre of fighting games. The art style is immaculate, the movement is crisp and fast, and it's very hard not to get excited for a title like this to be developed on the Unreal 4 engine. Come on, Arc, get a move on. It's been 5 years since you've announced this thing, and we're all waiting for the end result. This next entry is honestly the weirdest one on the list, but I think it's the strangeness that made me put it into this video. The game, of course, is Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Battle for the Grid is an upcoming fighting game made by developer Enway, and it was announced for a April release on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and is slated to have a PC release sometime later in 2019. Described as an easy-to-learn but hard-to-master fighter, Battle for the Grid spans the entire 25-year history of Power Rangers and pits new and classic Rangers and villains against each other in team battles. Those who buy the game on Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, or PC will be able to crossplay online on all 3 of these platforms and be able to have one concise mission progress that they can each achieve going across each platform. I'm still a little torn on this game because being someone in their early years who grew up with Tommy Oliver in the gang, it's interesting seeing the familiar and loved characters of my childhood brawling it out in a modern Marvelverse Capcom style fighter. I will give the trailer credit where credit is due. The gameplay does look really tight, but unfortunately the graphics seem to be lacking, and it seems to be something akin to a $15 indie fighting game rather than a potential $40 to $60 full release. But hey, only time will tell if it lives up to the hype of this list. Number 4 on the list may be a game out of left field for many, but the more and more I see of it, the more I can't stop watching. It's mean, it's gritty, it's got robots? Welcome to Metal Revolution. Metal Revolution is a robot fighting game in a fresh new cyberpunk style. Compared to other traditional fighting games, it has a concise control while still being able to keep depth and balance for higher level competitive play. There isn't a lot of detail so far on Metal Revolution other than it's supposed to drop late Q3 of 2019, but you can go over to the Metal Revolution YouTube channel and actually watch the devs create the game essentially in real time, with uploads as frequent as Valentine's Day of 2019. Unfortunately, there isn't much data on what platforms this game will be on, other than the early access advertisement on Steam. Hopefully we'll see a port to the likes of the Xbox, PlayStation, and the Nintendo Switch. I always love watching devs switch things up in a genre and trying new things, so seeing a robotic 2.5 dimensional fighter with a similar art style to Overwatch, with a sick, dope indie hip-hop track playing in the background, I feel like this is an interesting recipe, but from the variety of gameplay teased so far, I think this will be one of the better entrees we get in 2019. Alright, ladies and gents, the last game you've been waiting for, one of the coolest looking games to come out in 2019 is Samurai Spirits. Samurai Spirits is an upcoming fighting game developed by the legendary SNK. It is the first entry in the Samurai Showdown franchise to be developed using the Unreal 4 engine. At the SNK Investor Relations 2018 IPO conference, it was unveiled that the game would be coming to PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and then a later PC release. Although there isn't a solid release date set for this thing yet, we're all hopeful it comes out sooner than later. There still isn't a lot of information on this title just yet, but the teaser trailer alone has me wanting more. I didn't play really any of the Samurai Showdown games in the past, but from SNK's reputation for games like Metal Slug and the King of Fighters series, we will be giving nothing but the best and one of the most polished games of 2019. And that, my friends, will wrap up the video of the top 5 fighting games that you need to be on the lookout for and to be excited for in 2019. Did I miss any games that you're looking forward to in 2019? Let me know in the comments down below. Your feedback really helps me when I create these styles of videos. And while you're down there, remember to subscribe to the channel if you like what you see, and hit that alarm bell for those crispy notifications. If you want to do some more talking, follow me over at Twitter at mvito22. Thanks for watching, happy Friday, and as always, I will see you in the next video.